Thank you for joining us on the Spin Room. I'm your host, Ami Kaufman, wishing a Ramadan Kareem and easy fasting to all our Muslim viewers. Today we are joined by Parliament member נחמן Shai of the opposition party, the Zionist Union. נחman Shai is a former IDF spokesperson and also headed the now defunct Israel Broadcasting Authority. Thank you for coming on the show, Councilmember Shai.
Thank you.
In studio to partake in the discussion this week are Yediot Achronot longtime political pundit נחמה Dooek and journalist, academic, and fabulous screenwriter Ugadi Taub. Thank you both for joining us on the show.
Thank you for having us.
Our four topics of discussion today with Parliament member Shai are Donald Trump's historic visit and what it means for the region. We'll then move on to the prospects of peace on the eve of the 50-year anniversary of the Six-Day War. Afterwards, we'll tackle the failures of the left and ask, can they ever regain control of the government? And we'll end with a topic dear to our guest, media freedom in Israel. Okay, our first topic is Donald Trump's visit. Let's take a look at one thing the U.S. President said while he was here and then break it down with our guest, Knesset Member Shai.
On behalf of the United States, we pledge to stand by you and defend our shared values so that together we can defeat terrorism and create safety for all of God's children.
Councilmember Shai, thanks again for joining us. You were very optimistic before the visit of Donald Trump to the region and to Israel particularly. Do you still hold that view now that he's left?
Yeah, I'm trying to be optimistic as much as possible and never lose hope. I think he did establish something while he was here, probably more than he said publicly. But actually on his way to Rome, we were told that in a briefing on his plane or somewhere else, the reporters were told that both Abbas and Netanyahu made commitments to continue the peace process and actually to start talking between themselves, which is a one step ahead. And I hope very much that the United States and the President himself will use all their power.
Do you wonder why that wasn't said while he was here, those commitments? Why they weren't announced?
Maybe to avoid any criticism or just wasn't the proper time. Mm-hmm. He made very general statements. By the way, the one he made in the Israel Museum was very friendly to Israel, yeah. which is extremely important to us. I don't know actually what he said. I heard what he said after his visit in Bethlehem. But in general, this was not just words. I believe there's something more than that, and something is cooking.
Ugadi, not just words, or at the end of the day, I mean, compared to Saudi Arabia, where deals were signed and numbers were mentioned, here it seemed like it was just...
he probably didn't want to commit publicly to what he must know by now is a swamp that you can't get out of. And what the left, in one of our topics today in Israel, keeps ignoring is that Abbas is not going to sign a deal. The Palestinians have not been willing to sign a deal for 25 years. They are committing and recommitting to the right of return. We in Israel, whenever someone there says something that can be interpreted in two ways, we make great news of it, but they keep committing to the right of return, so there will be no deal.
נחמה Dooek, does it all boil down to that? Is it always going to be Abbas's fault?
Always. But talking about achievements, I think his big achievements that they painted the house of the home of the Prime Minister. A big achievement of Trump.
For the
very
visit,
important, honestly.
Do you know that often the U.S. President's team does that?
Yeah,
they sometimes come into your house and paint it if the President is
I invite them into my home.
Really? If you invite the President, they will bring
yeah, exactly. Anyways, I think that it's a bit too much to think that Trump can achieve anything in a very short visit of 28 hours. I think the one who is in deep depression, I mean big depression, is the right wing. The right wing, because they thought that the embassy is going to move to Jerusalem, that he's going to say that they can build in the settlements wherever and whenever they want.
That an Israeli official would come to the Western Wall with him, and he didn't.
Exactly, and nothing happened.
Nothing happened.
He just said that they're very good friends.
He didn't say a two-state solution, but we do have to go for a break. When we come back, more with the Knesset member נחמן Shai. Stay with us, and I'll let you finish your thought.
All right.
We're back on the Spin Room with Parliament member נחman of the Zionist Union talking about Donald Trump's recent visit here. I want to ask you, Parliament member Shai, when you watch the turmoil in the White House going on now, how do you feel when you see people who are maybe will pressure Israel to do things that they are now being investigated or might be under an impeachment process soon? Does that make you worry at all?
Well, it depends what. I mean, I know a little bit about what's going on in America right now, and I don't know how it will develop. But at the same time, I think that still some of them are focused on the Middle East, especially the special envoy, Jason Greenblatt. He's here already, and probably will be followed by others. And I think they can play 2 games, 3 games at the same time. Of course, something is going in the United States. We'll be watching that. But I don't think at this stage it does weaken the ability or the power of the present administration to try and bring the 2 parties together, which I believe is will be a major step if it works.
But נחman Shai, do we really need an outside force to force us to do something? I mean, Ramallah and Jerusalem is about 15 minutes away from each other by car. By if you walk, it will take you 2 hours, even less. So we don't need anybody. We just need to reach out our hand and try and maybe believe or want or wish that we'll reach another hand in the other side. And I think that we you and I will agree. I think Gatty and I will agree as well.
If the agreement was between us,
yes, exactly. But we have to talk with them. And the Americans, I mean, it's good to have, but it's not a necessity.
Yeah, but we have to encourage the 2 parties. I agree with you. You don't need the Americans, you don't need the Europeans, you just need the 2 parties to figure out what they have to do. But unfortunately, it didn't work so far. So maybe some American, European, international initiative will help. If it doesn't help, it doesn't help. I mean, at the end of the day...
We also have to remember that the peace process is not the only thing Trump came to do here. And he got the American...
What is the deal? What is the deal?
First of all, getting American policy in the Middle East back on track after the disastrous Obama years, where Iran had almost a free hand, Syria collapsed, and now I think that Trump is doing the reasonable thing and trying to reconstruct the old American alliance.
Trump and reasonable.
We're going to,
well, it's more reasonable than Obama so far.
Okay, we're going to continue this somewhat with our next topic. Our next topic is the prospects of peace. Last week, Israel celebrated 50 years to the unification of Jerusalem by marching around the city walls and inside the old city. Last night, left-wing organizations and parties called to end the 50-year-old occupation. Let's listen to Isaac Herzog, the leader of your party, at that rally last night.
Whoever thought that you can bury the chances for hope with the U.S. elections understands today that although a president has changed over in the U.S., the reality has not changed. This week, we saw here a U.S. president that is committed to bringing peace between us and the Palestinians, against all those that danced and marched the day he was elected. He understands the same thing that those before him understood. He understands that their reality is the same.
Parliament member Shai, of those 2 events, that march in Jerusalem with all the flags and this rally last night, which event was more important for you?
Of course, the second one, the one in Tel Aviv yesterday, although I like Jerusalem very much, and I would like to see this demonstration being taken place in Jerusalem, not just in Tel Aviv, always in the same place with more or less the same crowd of people coming to salute to peace. But I think both of them reflect different opinions, different views in the Israeli public, and I accept both of them. It's fine with me. What I'm trying to see is whether those who marched with flags last week in Jerusalem will continue to march in the future. In Jerusalem, they will. Other places, I'm not sure.
It's a good question. Israeli Channel 2 recently polled Israelis on the prospects for peace and for a 2-state solution, and it showed, as we can bring up the slide, that there's still quite a majority for that. 47% vote.
Yeah, there is.
They want to. But why is there no move forward? Because when it comes to the polling stations for Knesset elections, the left always loses. So what's going on?
First of all, it's not just the left, it's the left and the center. Currently, we have a right-wing, purely right-wing government in Israel, maybe for the first time in our history. Why we cannot interpret this public mood into the election outcome? I don't know.
Let me ask Gadi. I want to ask, maybe Gadi, let me ask you this. Do you think, Gadi, that maybe Israel is addicted, shall I say, to the status quo?
I don't think there's a big riddle here. I think the Israeli public is fairly realistic. It wants to separate from the Palestinians. It realizes the Palestinians have refused consistently any partition deal, insisting on the right of return. So they are looking for a party that used to be Kadima. Someone who will say, we don't believe that they're going to sign a peace deal, and we have to find a way to finish the occupation and separate without them. Since the Israeli public is realistic, when someone tells him at the head of a party tells them that he will bring peace, they don't believe him, so they don't vote for him.
נחama, what are your thoughts? Do these polls show?
I'm looking. The poll shows that.
That basically that Israel has always had its hand out, reach for peace.
Yes, but before that, it was over 70%.
For the two-state solution?
Yes, exactly. And now it's 57? 57. So I'm worried.
43.
Something is happening to the Israeli population. Something is happening. The public opinion is really moving to the right. And because it used to be over 75, between 75 to 80%.
Let's put this in proportion.
Okay.
When it was in 78, no one except Matzpen would say a two-state solution. In 88, they wanted to throw Yuli Tamir out of Peace Now for saying a two-state solution. Now you have a right-wing government that says a two-state solution.
I'm not talking about that. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking
the majority of the Israelis would like to see separation, as Gadi said, and to accept the two-state solution, but only few Israelis know what the price will be. A swamp of territories, and maybe more than that, accept the price. So in a level of slogans, you have the majority. When it comes to practical moves or steps, that will be
There's some more reports or rumors about the Zionist Union maybe joining the government. Once again, we've heard these rumors before. Would you support that?
At the time I did.
If there's an initiative on the table, will you support it?
We will help the government to overcome any criticism. But we'll do it from outside, not from inside. I don't see today any chance of joining.
That is a crying shame, because if you want to outmaneuver Bennett and the Jewish home, you have to go into the government. And what happened to Herzog said that, and he was trashed on the left, because part of the illness of the Israeli left is its desire for purity instead of pragmatism. They want to stay pure in the opposition, and they will stay in the opposition.
They tried it before. They were in Netanyahu's government. Nothing happened.
Right.
Okay. It was a standstill.
There were a lot of things that could have been prevented.
So
not just nothing happened.
He needs us only as a spare part. As a spare part, not as a real partner in his coalition.
If you could tell me, Gadi, that Netanyahu knows where he's going, if he knows, if I can stand in front of him and ask him, Mr. Netanyahu, what is your end game? Where are you leading us to? Do you know? Do you have the answer? I don't have the answer.
I want to influence.
I don't have the answer. You cannot, because you don't know where he's
influence his end game. Now Bennett is influencing his end game.
Listen, the Bar-Ilan speech was in 2009.
Okay.
Well, it's almost 10 years ago. Nothing happened.
Nothing happened since the Bar-Ilan speech in 2009. Okay, we have to go for a quick break, and we'll talk about the future of the left when we come back with Parliament member נחמן Shai. Stay with us. Don't go away. Our third topic, we're back on the spinner with Knesset member נחman Shai, and our third topic is the future of the left in Israel. נחman Shai, I want to show you another slide. A Channel 2 survey over the weekend gives the Zionist Union 12 mandates. With those dismal numbers, I guess it wouldn't be surprising that your party is probably the last of all parties that wants elections.
First of all, we don't want election right now.
Of course not. With those numbers, why would you?
Yes, why not? I mean, we'll choose elections if it depends on us, and the best timing. This is not. Probably we have to cross the primaries coming soon.
You remember that you're the opposition, and you do
want election all the time when it's good
for you. So you do or you don't? I'm all confused now.
We're in politics.
Okay.
First of all, we are not the left. We are center left. Don't bring us just to the left, because the left itself, in terms of gaining government, the government or being in government, Is not a realistic
Is it bad
option.
to be called the left in Israel now, or why?
It's harmful.
It sounds like you're
It's harmful. To be left, you're left in the left. I mean, the majority of the Israelis are from left to center and maybe to the moderate right. That's where we have to be in order to bring as many as possible supporters to take over the government. Otherwise, it won't work.
Do you understand now why you're losing? Because you said that it's shameful or harmful to say that you're left.
Yeah, to
You
label
have
us
to be
as
proud.
left is...
You have to stand out on your flags and your morals and everything. And if you do that, you will bring back the voters to you.
I don't think so.
Gadi, I want to ask Gadi. Gadi, you've been very vocal lately in Haaretz, writing some op-eds there that were very critical of how the left handles it. Maybe you have some words of I don't know, something to say to נחman Shai about how they should handle themselves,
Yeah,
the Labour Party?
I think that the left has basically surrendered the flag to the right.
Exactly.
And it allowed itself to be labeled anti-patriotic. People will not vote for parties who are somehow affiliated to anti-Israeli criticism and go to the UN in anti-Israeli forums.
That's not us.
I know it's not.
Of course. But that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying.
I am not disputing you.
I cannot associate myself with breaking the silence or
but
other.
this is what I said before.
Although I have my own opinion about them.
What is your opinion about them?
That they are eligible to work or to operate in Israel and to do whatever they feel fit for themselves and for the Israeli democracy. I have some criticism about their operation out of Israel.
Do they harm Israeli democracy?
No. They are legitimate partners in the Israeli democracy.
So you're not against them?
So you're not against
them? No, I'm in terms of...
I didn't understand.
No, I'm in terms of...
I didn't understand.
No, I don't want to adopt them into my party. I feel that they are eligible...
Do they want to be adopted to the Labour Party?
But some do. The right parties are pushing them into us and made us their partners and in the Israeli political scene, and that's not legitimate. That's not legitimate.
I think we should be clear about this. The Israeli public feels that these organizations are not really dealing with human rights. They are trying to demonize Israel in order to exert outside pressure on Israel. Now, when you work in a democracy, the democratic public doesn't like to feel bypassed through outside pressure. They're entitled, and it's legal, but you don't have to love it.
Gadi, they are only putting a mirror in front of your face and tell you this is reality.
All right.
Deal with it.
Are they really? Are they really?
Yeah.
Well, it depends on who you ask. I don't know yet. We have to move on to our last topic of the day, media freedom in Israel. Knesset member Shai, you recently lamented what you call the destruction of public broadcasting in Israel, if I'm quoting you. And also the Freedom House is a media organization that downgraded Israel from free to partly free due to the growing impact of Israel Hayom, which I want to say is a newspaper that is owned by Sheldon Adelson, considered very supportive of the Prime Minister, Benjamin Netanyahu. Should Israelis be concerned about freedom of the press under this government?
Yes. Well, it's not here yet, but there is a danger to the freedom of the press, and I can see a variety of steps taken by the government that put the media, the Israeli media, under siege and in danger. And I think that the best thing is that they will remove all those steps and they will let the media operate inside Israel. This is what democracy is all about.
I want to ask both of you. You're journalists, you're pundits, you write often. You're free to voice your opinions. Do you feel that anyone is...
And if I may say to you, even when the Labour Party was in power, they always wanted to be...
Not the same way.
What do you mean?
Not the same way. Of course, every government has a big appetite and would like to have a stake in everywhere.
They wanted to influence. They used to call the newspapers and the TV. You know, you were the military correspondent, and you know how many times the defense minister called you and
that's historically. That's not what we see now. What we are witnessing, what happened to the public broadcasting system, is a tragedy.
I think this is all very naive because Israel is so small. It's like trying to stop gossip in a kibbutz. It will be very, very difficult to stop freedom of the press here. As you know, two Jews, three opinions, and they all shout it.
politics. Well,
the press in Israel, the media is very free. It's a democratic country, and all governments try to influence the media.
Okay, and lastly,
That's
just a
it.
20-second response from you to the appointment of Ayub Kara to communications minister this morning. Critics are saying this is Netanyahu's way of keeping control of the office.
It's obvious. It's obvious. It's not really an appointment of new Minister of Communication. It's like appointing himself to be the Minister of Communication through Ayub Kara.
You guys have to agree with that?
Same thing. Yeah.
Gadi, you agree that basically
It's a joke.
It's a joke.
Yeah, on the account of Ayub Kara.
Really?
And on us, in a way.
Well, I actually saw someone on
We paid the
Facebook
price.
say that this was a puppet, but without strings, but not even a puppet.
Well,
that might be a bit harsh.
He's a good guy, but he knows. I'm sure that he knows that Netanyahu is playing with him.
He was told, actually, probably this morning.
Wait and see.
We'll wait and see.
Yeah.
That is all the time we have. I want to thank our panelists, נחama, Dooak, and Gadi Taub, and a special warm thank you to our main guest this week, Parliament member נחman Shai, for braving the storm with us. Stay with us. We'll be right back with the Press Gurus and close the show with David Schuster and the Schuster Brief. Stay put.